Morning children, this is take 2 of my Weakaura's video, the first of 2 or 3 videos I'm going to be doing today. Unfortunately, naturally, something had to go wrong and my hard drive decided to say no, it doesn't want to work, so we're going again. So, nice and simple, this is all about a particular Weakaura that people should have installed if they're doing interrupts for Xanesh or Hive Mind. It will apply to other fights later on in the raid. However, what I'm interested in right now is applying it to those particular fights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload the link for this Weakaura on Discord in the strats page, and also the list in there of who's interrupting on those fights and the orders, so that everything will make a little bit more sense as we go through, and you'll see how you can apply this to yourself. So if you don't have Weakauras installed, please go and install it. You will need this Weakaura to make life easier, okay? Because we're not calling it out, it's on you. So if you've got Weakauras installed, to open it, type /WA, hit return, and you'll be presented with this wonderful thing here. Now, we can ignore all of these Weakauras that are going on. These are just things that are happening for my own character. Not really relevant. We'll get rid of those. What we're looking for is this one. Tier 26, Interrupt Order Nameplate Anchor. If I click on it, we've got this little white box here. Now what happens, quite simple, is this Weakaura will put a white box with a number just above the nameplate of the ad that needs interrupting. Okay, so currently it just sits in the middle of the screen because there are no nameplates for it to be attached to, because I'm not in the raid to show that. Now, in this group, there are a bunch of different anchors, a bunch of different Weakauras. So one for the Organ of Corruption, which is Ilganoth, I think, one for Kazir, one for Psychus, one for Corrupt Tentacles, but this is the one I want to start with, which is the Awakened Terror nameplate. So, Awakened Terrors, those are the things that we're looking at in Xanesh. So there's 3 of those that we're going to have to deal with in each kind of void ritual. Each ad has got a bunch of different people assigned to kick, and each person that is assigned to kick has to kick in a specific or at a specific time. So if there are 4 people assigned, then and you're assigned to the 3rd kick, then you would be kicking only when it shows a number 3 in the box. So I'm going to show you how to set this up. So we want to set Anchor's interrupt order to Awakened Terror nameplate. Just click on it. Don't worry about anything other than custom options up here in the top right hand corner. So we click on this. This box has the NPC ID, don't change it. This just tells Weakauras which ad or nameplate, technically, that it wants to attach to. Okay, so the Awakened Terror is called, has the NPC ID of 162432, and the spell that we're interested in interrupting is this one, which is 316211. Do not change either of these, okay? If you know what you're doing and you want to mess around with this for other fights, that's fine. Make a copy, do so. But for our purposes here, don't touch them. What we are interested in, however, is some of these options down here. So the first ad is going to be marked with a triangle, because I have a Weakaura that will automatically mark each of the 3 ads that comes up in a specific order. Ad 1 will be marked with triangle. So you select which ad you are going to be interrupting, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, which is triangle, moon, and square, if I remember correctly. But I will put that in the post on Discord. Then you need to look at the number of interrupts that are assigned for that one. In the case of the first ad, which is what I'm doing, which is triangle, there are 4 interrupts in the rotation currently. So I'm going to move this to 4. Okay, so reset after 4 interrupts or casts. And I'm also going to be interrupting 1. So I specify my interrupt by putting in the number 1. Boom, done. I'm also going to select this, show only if unit is affected by raid icon, just to make sure that the raid icon bit kicks in and does what it's supposed to do. Okay. I've selected glow if your interrupt is next. So if my interrupt is the next interrupt, this will glow. It will have a glow texture around it. I've also chosen to have it to play a sound if my interrupt is next, which is just going to be a ringing phone. Boom, done. Things are wonderful. So this is really, for me, this is an exceptionally simple Weakaura in terms of operation, but it might be a little bit overwhelming for you. That's not a bother. So hopefully this has shown you how to set it up. You don't really need to understand how it works. You just need to know when your interrupt is, and all you have to do is copy what I've done here, select which ad you are. So if you're interrupting moon, you would just select moon. If you're the third interrupt, you'd put number 3 in there, and if there are only 3 interrupts in that rotation, then you just put the number 3 in here. If there were 7 interrupts, then you put 7, and if you were 6th, you would just put in the number 6. Boom, done. Nice and simple. So I'm 1. There are 4 interrupts. I'm interrupting triangle, so that's selected. It's only going to apply if the unit is affected by a raid icon. I have a glow for mine. It will play a sound for mine. Boom, done. So this Weakaura is very, very, very powerful. Very, very useful, particularly in Mythic, because it gets so much more complicated. Now, John and Jakob are both doing this for Khazir, and they have theirs set up as well to do this. I believe Jakob is interrupting first, so we would select the Khazir nameplate one. There are 2 interrupts. If I'm Jakob, I'm just going to put in the number 1. That's it. That's all he has to do. Boom, done. If it's John, just puts in the number 2. Boom, done. Everything else is already set up, ready, raring to go. The NPC ID, which is for Khazir, here 157253, so this will only appear on Khazir. It will only apply to this particular spell, okay, with the ID 313652. Lovely, beautiful, simple. If you're not interrupting on that fight, just set it to 0. You don't need to worry about it. Okay, you're not assigned, you're not applied, you don't have to think about it. Now, the key thing with this Weakaura, and why I wanted to kind of talk about this now, just briefly, is trust. So interrupts are really important on some fights. I mean, I would say they're always important on certain abilities, but when it comes to Mythic, there are some particular fights where we have got to get these interrupts. If we don't do these interrupts, we're just going to die, we're going to wipe, and it's not necessary. Now, the big step up, or one of the big step ups for people that aren't used to doing lots of Mythic raiding, aren't used to really organised Mythic Plus, is how a kick order works. If you are assigned to kick a particular ability at a particular point in a rotation of kicks, you need to be the one that does it. Once, maybe twice, last night, somebody sniped my interrupt. That's not okay. It's not cool. It's not cool because it then throws everything else out later. So if my interrupt is sniped before I even have the chance to put mine on cooldown, then what happens next? Well, you might say, well, just kick the next one. Okay, but then the person after me might burn through their kick. So we start throwing things out of sync. The second thing to think about here is that if we're throwing things kind of out of sync, and we start then chatting about it in the middle of the fight that we're trying to concentrate on, we end up with a really messy comms. And this is quite a complicated fight in terms of people doing the right thing at the right time. I mean, mechanically it's quite simple, but there's a lot happening and we need to keep on top of it. So if you're not assigned to kick, don't kick. If I call for somebody to kick because I've ballsed up, I've missed mine, or I've already thrown mine on to cooldown, then I want to know that the person that I call on has got their kick still available. And if they've sniped mine, or they've sniped somebody else's, whatever it is, and their kick is on cooldown, it's not going to work, and then we might wipe. So you have got to, which is point 3, you have got to trust that people are going to do what they're assigned to do at the right time. Okay? If you're not assigned to kick, do not kick. If you are assigned to kick, kick in the right place. Trust that the rest of the team, the rest of the people that are assigned to do kicks, are going to do them. Even if it looks like they're not, trust them to do it. Particularly on this fight where we're kicking very late. It's a 5.5 second cast. Really, we're kicking at 5 seconds. So it's going to look like somebody's going to miss that kick. But you've got to trust people to do it. If they miss it, they miss it. That's for me to deal with as the raid leader. Okay? Don't preempt other people messing up by thinking, well, oh no, they're going to miss it. I'm going to kick to make sure it happens. It's not how it works. You've got to trust people to do the job that is assigned to them. Okay? It's a hard thing to learn to do, especially for some of us that are control freaks like me. But you have got to trust that people are going to do what they need to do when they need to do it. That's it for this video. I'll be following this up with a couple of others on specifics for Xanesh and Hivemind from logs. But thank you very much for watching. Any questions, as always, just pop me a message on Discord. If you're not from the guild and you come across this on YouTube, fine, awesome, lovely to meet you. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, whatever. Apparently that's a thing. But I will try and get back to people on how this Weakaura works, if they've got specific questions, or how they can apply it to different ads. But thank you very much for watching. See you a bit later.